everyone say hi to each other. Let's become a massive group of just photography love.
And that's fine, you know. But with film, you can hold it. It's more unusual films that are now out, like Lomochrome turquoise. I've got cameras that do that already. I was driving to work, and every day it was just going over my head.
Yeah.
The idea of, and I knew I was going to end up getting one, and eventually I did. I got a kind of emotional attachment
Mm.
to the situation, to the people we're photographing, or the scene we're photographing, or the subject we're photographing.
Hello and welcome to Camera Central Podcast. Today I have Tom Warland on with me, who is a bit of an analog shooter. So we're going to have a little bit of fun talking about what he does and, all that kind of stuff. So, Tom, what do you do? Give us
Hello.
a rundown.
Where to start? Okay, I'm a documentary photographer. And I studied at Newport, so I know the area quite well. It's quite nice. And over the last few years, I've shifted more away from digital and gone back to film. And what I really love is darkroom printing. So I teach. My favorite place to teach is the darkroom. I've got a darkroom at home. And yeah, that's a big part of what I do and how I work. Really, is the idea of the final print, as it
The
were.
idea of the final print. So, what do you think is special about analog photography? And do you think there's even a point in doing it these days when you have such good digital cameras? It sounds like an aggressive
That is a very
question.
loaded question.
It's a very loaded question. I know. I like to do loaded questions, and I just want to clarify. I am also a lover of the analog shooting as well. So
Okay, was that
it
A1? Was that?
sounds really, yeah, Canon A1. It sounds like a really loaded kind of like aggressive question. But sometimes you need to ask loaded aggressive questions in this to get some good answers.
There's okay. So we've been through 20 years, I suppose, of the digital versus film
Yeah.
conversation argument. Um, I've always maintained that there is a place for both. I shoot digital. I've got a M10 in the cupboard behind me. I've got an XE4 as well, so I do video stuff with that. And they're great cameras. I absolutely love them. But the camera I always grab first is not going to be one of those. It's more likely to be the Pentax 17 or my Voigtlander. And there's something tangible about film, and that's what I love about it. So with digital, it's convenient, it's quick. You can see your results there and then. You can get them to photo desk nice and quickly if you're in photojournalism. Uh, Amazing for sports photography, and the new stuff that Sony and Canon have been bringing out over the last few years are just stunning. Um, but it doesn't exist.
Mm,
It's not. You can't touch it. It's not real. It's a piece of binary code,
yeah.
and that's fine, you know. But with film, you can hold it, you can smell it, you can taste it. If that's not weird, and
I'd just
then
like to
you
clarify
can.
we do not condone the eating of film. It's probably a little bit poisonous. Um, but no, I do get what you mean. The tangibility, and I think in today's society where we got like this big focus on AI everything, going back to the roots and understanding kind of like in many cases, especially with new photographers as well, what their parents and their grandparents were shooting on. It kind of brings back the sort of realness and the existence of that situation. Because with electricity and like you said, it's just digital. Yeah, it's something that can be created these days, I guess, with AI more and more, and maybe one day in its entirety. But like, yeah, I think film photography has a unique part to and a unique future, I think, to it, and especially with the Pentax 17 and whatever Pentax decide to do next with it, essentially.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see what they do with TKO taking a break, and because he's been a real pusher with Enrico for film. But I mean, what I tell my students and my parent and their parents is when they come and they start learning on my course. So I teach in a college in Buckinghamshire. Um, with digital, it's such a enjoyable thing to learn with because you see the results instantly. So the appeal is there, and it's the amount of people studying photography now. Sorry, is greater than it's ever been.
Mm.
But you don't learn quickly enough.
Yeah,
So with digital, because you're able to always double check yourself and look at the screen and say, oh, it's a bit too dark, a bit too light, oh, it wasn't quite in focus, or too much motion blur. You can then correct it. You learn how to correct it, which is good.
yeah,
But with film, you've got 36 shots. You're not going to see any of them until that film is developed. And it's expensive to make
yeah,
mistakes. So you learn to anticipate those problems quicker
yeah.
and you become more confident in yourself as a photographer so much quicker, in my view, than digital
Mm.
as well. So I absolutely love it as a teaching tool.
Yes, for sure. And as you were talking, then I was kind of imagining kind of like a good analogy, and this is gonna sound like one of the tangents I warned you about beforehand. But in the like in the Last Samurai, where have you watched the Last Samurai first of all?
Of course, yeah.
So of course, you got guns versus swords, and what was great about guns is that you've got a warrior straight away in 5 minutes. With swords, it's a decade or two or to train a good swordsman. And that's kind of where you see, I think, photography and photographers in general is you can train and become a good warrior, a good photographer really easily with digital, and you can be great at it straight away or whatever. But with film photography, because there's that more sort of like concentration, learning, I think there is that aspect of it there. It helps you master photography, I think, in a different way than,
Mm.
just your point and shoot, quick digital 100 frame a second cameras you get these days. Yeah.
Yeah, I think I agree with that on the whole. I don't know if the idea of it maybe taking decades compared to minutes. But yeah, I
Yeah,
agree.
yeah. Yeah, well, we're all master swordsmen, right? But no, yeah, like what I'm saying now is basically got like a longer kind of um education to it, I guess, when it comes to film photography. But I
And
think you get
that's
more
true
out
of
of it.
digital as well.
Yeah, yeah,
I mean,
yeah.
there's so much stuff on Photoshop that I haven't got a clue how to do because it's
Yeah.
not part of what my practice. No,
No.
I do documentary. I do minor adjustments, minor retouching from scans, maybe borders and print.
So in that retrospect, when it comes to your documentary work,
Mm.
and you don't do much to you, what do you reckon is the most important thing to you as you do a project, and perhaps even talk about a project that you've done or doing at the moment here as well? That'd be cool. But yeah, so what do you try and apply in your work?
Oh, that's a good question.
But that's the point. It's a good question to
That
ask
is
a good
yeah,
question.
it is a good question. That's changed over the years. I used to think don't change anything, leave it exactly as it is.
Hmm.
And when I did my degree, there was a photograph I took, and it was just a very simple photograph of a sink, and the plug draped over the tap. And I knew that if I just tugged on it just a little bit, it would have had a slightly better composition. I wouldn't have
Mm.
changed anything, but I didn't move it because it meant I was interfering, and it's always bugged me.
Yeah.
So I stay true to a story. I stay true to what I'm wanting to say, but I am now comfortable with, if something needs moving within the setting, just turning its direction,
Mhm.
I'll do so. So
Yeah.
that kind of thing. And the other thing I really like is eye contact. So when I do portraits,
Yeah.
I want people to look straight into the barrel of the lens, and this is something I took from Lewis Hine. And if you remember the portrait of the girl in the loom works, and she's standing by a window and she's got her
Yeah,
arm resting on the loom one side, window sill the other, and
yeah,
she's looking straight into the lens. And there's 150 years between now and when he took that photograph are just wiped away when you look at that photograph, and you're
yeah.
transported into that time. So that's a big thing for me, is to have that eye contact. And that's what I'm doing at the moment. So my current project is looking at discophiles, so record collectors. I'm traveling around the country, interviewing them, a
Hmm.
bit like this,
Yeah.
asking about their collection, going record shopping with them, just seeing where those conversations go, all those weird tangents, um, and then finishing off with just a single portrait of them. And again, it's very formal, maybe a bit of lighting. I use Rotalight, um, and I'll have them look straight into the lens for that shot.
No, oh, that's fair enough. Do you know that Cardiff has got the oldest record shop in the world?
Is it the one in the market?
It's one in the arcades, one of the arcades, essentially.
Oh, okay.
It's got the oldest. I think when I went in there the other day, because I'm not necessarily, wouldn't necessarily say I'm a discophile. Again, this is a tangent. I can just see Tyler on the corner here being like, "Sure, stop going on tangent." But no, Cardiff does have the one of the oldest. No, it's the oldest vinyl record place in the world, and it's called Spillers. Really lovely place. Yeah,
I'll put it on my list. When I was a student, I spent too much time in the one at the top of Cardiff Market.
yeah.
I don't know if it's still there or not now,
Yes,
but
still
yeah,
there, still there. Yeah,
too much time and way too much of my student loan went in that place.
well, like it was very much the same, but with camera center with me, unfortunately. Sponsor? No, yeah, for sure. So Pentax 17,
Yeah.
I think is a maybe an interesting camera to talk about here. We did actually cover it on the channel, and if I'm honest, I did like it a hell of a lot. And if I'm honest again, I thought I was going to hate it, and I didn't. It was awesome. What do you think of it?
I love half frame cameras. I've got far too many of them. And there's another one I'll talk about in a moment if you don't mind as well. But
Yeah,
the Pentax 17 takes some of my favorite vintage half frame cameras,
yeah.
and it just combines them all together beautifully. So when it was announced,
Hmm.
I remember watching some of the announcement videos and I was thinking, oh God, it's amazing, but it's so expensive.
Yeah,
And I've got cameras that do that already. But I was driving to work and every day it was just going over my head.
yeah,
The idea of, oh, and I knew I was going to end up getting one. And eventually I did. I got one last May, I think it was.
yeah,
Um, and yeah, I absolutely love it. It's such an intuitive camera to use. And I got to meet TKO, the designer of it, a few months ago as well. He's a lovely guy when he was over here from Japan.
yeah. That must have been an interesting
And
experience meeting the guy that
it was
designed a camera.
he's such a wonderful man. He's just so almost cliche Japanese in terms of his just level of respect to everyone. So his level of politeness. It was wonderful, and he
Yeah.
kindly signed my Pentax for me. So I've got my Pentax signed
Oh, that's
underneath,
sick.
yeah, by
Yeah,
TKO, which is really nice.
yeah,
But another camera came out not long before for a similar kind of price, which is a half frame. Actually, I was going to quickly grab it. Hang on a second.
yeah. No worries.
Have you seen one of these?
I have seen it on your Instagram when I was doing a little bit of research on you.
Okay. So
So Alfie camera, what is that?
yeah, so this is an Alfie Titch, and this is made by a guy called Dave. Everyone knows a Dave.
Everyone knows a
Um,
Dave.
Everyone knows Dave. Dave's always cool. And it's a half frame camera, which is a bit different because what you have is a lens barrel can rotate. So you've got four different lens options on there.
Yeah.
Now, it's optically, it does not compare to the Pentax. The Pentax is one of the
I
sharpest
was
small cameras.
so surprised at the Pentax when it comes to the how sharp a half frame film camera was. Anyway,
Yeah,
continue.
it's absolutely this is not that sharp. It's my wife doesn't like this camera because it's not as sharp as the Pentax.
That's what it comes down
But
to at the end of the day, is if your wife likes the camera. That's the rule, guys. When you buy a camera, you gotta make
no,
sure your missus likes it.
yeah, she refers to it as the one that does not take good photos. Sorry, Dave.
Yeah.
Um, but it does in a very different way. It because of the different lenses, because of its size, and it's just its design.
Yeah.
You can do multiple exposures with it as well. You've got a pinhole on there. It just it's much more creative in a way,
Mhm.
and you play around with
Yeah.
multiple exposures and angles in a way that I wouldn't do with any other camera.
Mm.
So that's quite a fun one as well.
Oh, fair enough. I think this is probably something to touch on in that respect. You make an interesting point where, like, it takes bad photos, but like film photography in general, and again, this is going to sound loaded, okay? It is. But film photography in general, the picture quality is not good compared to digital. It's not the same level of sharpness, like, and quality, right? Because digital has gone past it. But I think in the era or where perfection is everything, the imperfect things in our daily lives as well as with photography, I think shine out more. And I think with film photography in particular, because it's imperfect, because it's not ultimately sharp all the time or, too grainy or whatever, I think, yeah. Do you know what I mean?
I get what you mean. Is film as crystal sharp as digital? No,
Mm. No.
I'm not going to pretend it is. But why do we take photographs?
Yeah.
We, f-
That's a good question, Tom.
yeah,
You're beating my question. You're beating my questions. I don't like it. I'm
the
the host. No, I'm joking.
photography is a form of communication,
Yeah,
and when we're communicating, we're trying to say something, we're trying to tell a story,
yeah,
and that might be through the narrative and the sequence of the images. But with those are the facts. To go with those facts, there's some kind of emotional attachment
mm,
to the situation, to the people we're photographing, or the scene we're photographing, or the subject we're photographing.
yeah,
It's we're trying to convey some form of emotion, and the subtleties and the tones and the softness you get with some films help with that. And then you've got some of these more unusual films that are now out, like Lomochrome turquoise,
yeah,
which shifts the colors around. So you end up with orange skies and blue landscapes, which is weird. It's kind of wonderful as well. I shot a roll last week in the Holger just because I could. And you get these sort of like almost like dreamlike kind of imagery and sequences,
mm,
which you might not necessarily think of or come across digitally the same way.
yeah, yeah. No, for sure. Like I've always, yeah, just film photography, man. It's just absolutely fantastic. So, what other cameras do you shoot on when it comes to the film world at the moment?
Um, a bit of a mix. So I'm doing a lot of stuff in medium format at the moment. So I've recently designed a little accessory, which is for medium format cameras, and it's to hold a light meter. So a little clip on light meters,
Yeah,
like the Voigtlander ones.
yeah,
We use them on 35mm cameras all the time, but you never put them in a medium format. And I've come up with a way of doing so. So this is something we designed. It's called a clip shoe.
Yeah,
Um, and yeah, if you search us on Instagram, TWD photo,
yeah,
you'll find the clip shoe. They're about 10 quid, which is a nice little bargain.
yeah.
Um, so I've been doing a lot of stuff with medium format to sort of, advertise that and push that out at the moment. But I do a lot of 3D photography as well, so stereoscopic.
Okay. So,
So I use
what is it? The Nissan, the Nissan, the Nikit? No.
Yeah, see, yes, that's a lenticular camera. That's a different beast again.
Oh, it's a different beast
Um,
again.
yeah,
Oh,
so stereo is with
oh,
two images, so one for each
yeah.
eye.
I haven't seen one of those. I
Um,
think we had one of those in the sort of like bin in camera center. Sorry, I'm sitting away from a mic.
yeah.
We had one of those in the bin in the camera center. Not in the bin, in a sort of like bucket down the bottom because they're not really worth too much money. They are cool though. I love camera tech.
Oh, they are. Depending what it is, they could be worth
Mm.
lots of money.
Oh, okay, is it?
Um,
This was a
oh
long.
yeah.
This was a long time
Um,
ago. This was before the
oh, okay.
craze of film photography came back.
So I use one of these. So that's on a large format lens at the moment, but I
Yeah.
can put that on my Leica, so I can do
Oh,
digital with it as well. Um, but I've got other ones as well, other stereo cameras,
yeah,
and it takes a separate photograph for each eye. So if your left eye and your right eye,
yeah,
and then when you put them in a viewer and you look at it, your brain combines those images and you see
yeah.
in 3D. So you said
Mhm.
about the quality earlier on. For me, all photographs, if they're not 3D, are bad quality
Okay.
because you're taking the 3D world and you're rendering it flat.
Yeah.
So there's
Okay.
my loaded answer
There
to
you
your
go, my
loaded
loaded
question.
question. Is everyone's doing it wrong? We need to do 3D instead.
Yeah,
3D
no,
photography.
listen to Brian May. Brian May got it right.
Yeah, well, I think there's been attempts with kind of like 3D photography. Because you had the Lytro cameras, of course, which were a bit ridiculous. Because that's technically 3D. Because I love the description of the Lytro camera because it just sounds really awesome for something that just completely failed. And it's like a camera but a laser. You basically shoot a laser at the world and you get a photo. And it just sounds so cool, doesn't it? I like the idea of just shooting a laser. Um, but
There's a
yeah,
few things. The problem with 3D is it comes and goes out of fashion.
yeah, so much.
And that's because you always have to hold something or wear something to
Mm,
be able to see it. So at the moment, it's virtual reality headsets. They're expensive and you have to wear it. Or you go to the cinema and you watch a film in 3D and you've got a pair of cardboard glasses on top of your other glasses and they dig in behind the ears and it's uncomfortable.
yeah,
Um, in the 80s and 90s, there was anaglyphs of red and blue glasses and they just
yeah,
give you headaches. So it's always inconvenient because it's not as lazy as
yeah,
look at a photograph or look at a book or
yeah,
a screen. Um, but there's been some good attempts, and Canon are doing some really nice stuff for this at the moment. So they've released last year, I
yeah,
think it was end of last year,
yeah, yeah,
some stereoscopic lenses, um, which are 500 odd quid or 1,000 odd quid depending on which
yeah,
versions you
yeah,
buy. Fuji, they've done some stereoscopic compact cameras, digital cameras over the years as well. So there's some good attempts out there at the moment, but yeah, I think it is due another resurgence, and I've been pushing for that over the last few years too.
yeah. And then you become the guy that did it before it became cool. So everyone wants
Exactly.
to be that guy, the one that can be like, well, I did it before it was cool. Um, yeah, no, for sure. Kind of deviating a little bit away now. Wales and West is of course coming up. It's
Yeah.
19th, the 21st of June, and you're going to be doing a talk. So what can people expect from your talk at Wales and West?
So I'm there on the 21st. So I'm there on the Saturday morning. Um, I kind of missed a trick a bit. It's actually International Stereoscopy Day. So it's a worldwide event
Oh,
of stereoscopic photography on the 21st of June. And rather than talking about stereoscopic photography, I'm going to be talking about hiding in dark rooms instead. So I'm gonna be talking about what you need if you want to set up a home darkroom, why you might want to,
Yeah.
and really how little you need and how cheap it can be. So my first home darkroom was when I first met my now wife, and we our bathroom didn't have any windows. So we took an extension lead into the bathroom
Yeah.
and had an enlarger balanced on the toilet, and then some developing trays in the bath,
Mm,
and you had to be on your knees by the toilet when you're printing, and you sort of shuffle around to the face in the bath so you could get
yeah.
it in the trays, and it was not comfortable at all. You know, your knees hurt every print, but it just shows how easy it was to set up very very quickly to do.
Hmm.
So I've got photos of that set up somewhere. I'm gonna put them into my talk,
Yeah.
and I'm gonna show what what you need, what you don't need. I might mention the Ago film processor units, which are now out.
Hmm.
Um, so these came out about a year ago, I
Yeah.
guess. It was a Kickstarter. They're now doing really, really well, and they can be used for film processing. They can also be used for printing black and white or color images without all the space taken up by multiple trays as well.
Yeah.
So yeah, I might chuck that into the thing. I don't know yet.
Well, it'll be interesting no matter what. And of course, you have done talks before, haven't you? Because you've done a lot of like education, so it's going to be really interesting. Of course, you've got the
Yeah,
creative. It's you're going to be on the creative stage, which I honestly feel like is going to be an absolute great place to go and actually learn about things because there's so many people like yourself there this year, and like I've done so many of these like little podcasts recently, and it's been so fascinating to see everyone's kind of like different perspective. What are you excited for there? Have you, I don't know if you've looked too much into it. Are you wanted to test out some
I've
stuff or
there's a few. I'm looking forward to having a chat with the guys from Leica
yeah,
because I use Leica as well,
yeah.
and it's gonna be quite fun to sort of show them my stereo setup that I use on a Leica, and get
Mm.
some raised eyebrows from them.
Oh, for sure.
Um, but yeah, in terms of the talks, I can't remember who it was now, but there was a couple of talks that got announced last week.
Yeah,
And I was like, oh God, that sounds really interesting. And I think one of the ones is on the Saturday, so the day I'm there, but it's in the afternoon. And I can't remember the name now or the subject. It's gone out of my head. So I need to go and have another look at the list. But yeah, I think it's gonna be great to,
yeah,
get some ideas from other people. So I recently gave a talk at the photography show when it was in London.
yeah,
And it was good fun. But what was even better was actually get to see some of the talks from other artists and
yeah.
photographers, and get ideas from them. And so, oh God, I'm now shopping around trying to get other bits of equipment so I can try stuff based on what they do. And I was, oh, I
Yeah,
wonder if I can mix that with my stereoscopic stuff or my
yeah.
darkroom printing.
Well, it's really
And
good learning from other
it's really
people,
nice.
isn't it? I think just in
Absolutely,
general, I think you become not necessarily you
we never
become
stop.
better at photography, but learning something new is always absolutely fantastic. So final question is because we're actually hitting the time limit on Zoom. God damn you, Zoom. Um, the final question is, what is your advice to someone looking to just start out doing a little bit of analog photography?
Um, get yourself a camera that can shoot in manual.
Yep.
There's some really good cameras out there which are nice little point and shoots that aren't expensive and they're fun. Um, but get yourself a camera that can shoot manual. Get yourself an old Nikon FE or Canon
Mm,
8-1 like you've got there, um, and just get used to controlling the light meter manual. Getting the needle in the center, and just have fun. Just get some black and white film, a bit of Kent Mir or Fomapan, which isn't too expensive,
yep.
and just go out, take photographs, maybe set a theme for a roll of
Yeah,
film. So that's something I do when I haven't done anything for a while. It's a one roll project.
yeah,
So I'll choose a random theme, and then that roll of film is that. So it might be um, broken street signs,
yeah.
and that's all I'll photograph with it. And it just gets me looking at the world in that way, and um, yeah, just
Okay,
shoot, just
do it.
get a camera, get some film, shoot. Use your local labs. There's so many great labs around.
Mm,
There's so many great online labs as well. Um, yeah,
nice.
create
Absolutely amazing.
photographs.
Create photographs, create moments, imaging,
Yeah,
love and peace. Uh, but for sure, it's been an absolute wonder talking to you today. We're gonna have to cut it there because
thank you very
I'm just
much.
about to get kicked out of the conference, get kicked out of the call. But it's yeah, like I said, absolutely wonderful talking to you today, man. Looking forward to seeing you at Wales and West. And yeah.
Yeah, do come say hi.
You come. I will come say hi. Oh, you talking to them?
Well, you as
Oh,
well. Yeah,
me as
you.
well. Yeah, yeah. No, I will. I will. Come say hi to me as well. Everyone say hi to each other. Let's become a massive group of just photography love. Anyway, if you like the video, make sure you like and follow and subscribe if you want to see more. Is there anything else you want to add? Any links to your personal stuff you want to put
Yeah,
at the
oh
end?
yeah. I will say, Tom Bob Warland is where you find me on Instagram and website. I do a monthly Darkroom live stream, so I'm doing one this evening. So if you want
Which
to
is
learn
just
more
a
about
black
darkroom
image.
printing, yeah, I'll get it all set
Sorry.
up in there. Sorry.
Yeah.
So yeah, so that's on Instagram at the moment, but hopefully in the coming months I'll be shifting over to YouTube. So
Amazing.
yeah, follow me on Instagram to find out more about
Look forward to
those.
seeing you there. I'm going to subscribe for sure
Please do.
straight away on the 12 odd channels that I have control of. But yeah, awesome. That'd be great, man. Uh,
uh,
what's the live stream site? Just out of interest, what is the live stream set up for that? Is it like, are
it's
you got a
my
red,
iPhone at the moment.
have you got a red light on, or is it literally just like
Yeah, so it's all under red light. I've got to put a
Oh,
red
okay.
filter over the phone screen at the moment.
Ah, okay.
But I'm gonna have it all set up with multiple webcams dotted around the
Oh, that
dark
sounds
room,
really
so
interesting.
you can see decent angles of what's going on. But I haven't done the wiring yet, so
Oh,
for now it's just a phone
for now
angle on the
it's a phone.
um. Is it a
But
phone on a monopod? There we go. A bit like your display.
amazing. Let me know when that happens because I'll be fascinated to check out you and your dark room, not little dark room, sorry, and your dark room. And
First one tonight, Stuart. There we go.
first what? Hello, awesome. Let's do it. I'll see you there. Cool.
Cool.
Amazing. Thank you for joining us, and that will be the end of the video. Have a good day, guys.
Thank you.